Yeah, hello everyone, Irvin Reacts here, and welcome back to another video. So today we're gonna be reacting to another extra credits history series. This is quite a short series since it's only 2 episodes. Basically, it's on the history of coffee. Episode 1, Brewing Controversy. The reason why I decided to react to this series was, well, the other day I was at an Italian restaurant which also acted as a cafe and bakery. There I ordered a mocha, an iced mocha frappe, and just a few days before, I went to Starbucks and ordered a nice caramel cream with extra caramel syrup and grizzy. Then while I was watching the news, I watched WeOn, the WeOn news channel. There I saw a video regarding a news article on coffee and how it's somewhat contributing to global warming, and also how the coffee bean plantation industry is also suffering from global warming and climate change. And thus, with all that in mind and in hand, I decided to react to this series. Anyway, let's get to it. By the way, comment down below what's your favorite cafe. For me, it's the Canadian cafe Tim Hortons, but there isn't any Tim Hortons cafes where I live in my location. For the most part, I've only seen Tim Hortons in Manila, the capital of my country. So I can only rely on Starbucks. But don't get me wrong, it's not like I don't like Starbucks. I love it. I love it. It's just that for some reason I prefer the taste of Tim Hortons. I mean, we all have our own preference, right? But anyway, let's get back to the video. 3, 2, 1, and go.
According to legend, it started over 1,000 years ago with some goats. An Ethiopian goat herder burst into a monastery. He tells the monks that his name is Kalma and that he's discovered something incredible. Magic berries! See, he'd gone and looked for his goats, right? But found them munching on red berries from an unfamiliar bush, and then, get this, the goats were dancing, just leaping around full of energy. And then curious, he tried the berries himself, of course, and just like the goats, he'd been unable to sleep that night, and he wanted to share this discovery with everyone as soon as he possibly could. Frightened by his story, and probably his shaky, over-caffeinated manner, the monks declared these magic berries the work of Satan, and cast them into the fire. But as the berries burn away, roasting the beans inside, their aroma is so delicious, the abbot yells that nothing made by the devil could possibly smell so sweet. They rake the beans out of the fire and cover them in hot water to preserve them. But then the liquid is so alluring, they can't help but take the tiniest taste. And lo, a worldwide addiction is born.
Ah, come on. An ad just had to come up at the worst possible timing. And I can't skip. Why can't I skip? I hate it.
Thanks so much to humankind for helping us keep this history brewing. Mocha, Java, Joe, Brew, Cuppa, Tar, Jitter Juice, Rocket Fuel, or maybe most aptly, my...
Wait, rocket fuel's a type of coffee? That, if anything, that more sounds like an actual energy source for rockets, if not an energy drink. Tell me down below if that's an actual coffee, because I refuse to believe that. In terms of types of coffee, I particularly like frappes and lattes. Tell me down below what type of coffee you like.
My blood type. Call it what you want. We love coffee. Love it so much, in fact, that not only is it one of the world's most traded commodities, but literally, and I'm not kidding here, right as I sat down to read this script, my body instantly told me that I should get up and walk to my local coffee shop before I started, thus completing the circle of addiction before we even began. And this latte's good. From its obscure origin.
I agree with him. Lattes are absolutely good.
In Ethiopia, coffee's conquered the planet. And in the next 2 episodes, we're going to take you on a whirlwind tour of its rise and triumph. So grab your own double espresso and get ready for a highly caffeinated retelling of how the world's favorite psychoactive drug conquered the globe. Because while some might say that Kaldi's dancing goat story belongs in our other show, hi other me, there actually might be some truth to this legend. Coffee is native to Ethiopia, and in an area where goat herding was a major part of agriculture, it wasn't unusual to let the animals, who basically would eat anything, try out unfamiliar plants.
True, same goes for pigs and basically other sources of livestock. They will eat anything, even a shoe.
To see if they were edible. Though that's where the truth probably ends. Because while in the legend, monks go straight to roasting and drinking coffee, in reality, people spent a while eating it. First the berries surrounding the bean, then blocks of roasted and ground beans held together with binding agents as sort of an energy bar. Other legends tell.
Coffee bean energy bars. That actually sounds really good. Good for them.
Of Muslim holy men bringing coffee from Ethiopia to Mecca, including one that was supposedly made a saint in thanks. But historically speaking, all we know is that by the end of the 16th century, the drink had spread all across the Middle East, North Africa, and the Ottoman Empire. Of course, every new craze needs early adopters, and in coffee's case, it was the Sufi mystics, many of whom were merchants with trade links to Ethiopia. Famous for their late-night rituals, spent praying, whirling, and reciting the name of God, the Sufis quickly discovered that the bitter drink helped keep them energized during their devotions, and probably helped them get over their sluggishness before work the next morning. But coffee quickly moved out of being a niche drink favored by one religious sect, because it was ideally suited to become a staple of the Islamic world. In a region where alcohol was illegal, coffee served.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Islam forbids alcohol.
Served as an alternative drink for socializing and enjoyment. Plus, in a culture that prized academic learning, coffee became a favorite fuel of late-night study sessions. But it was also the method of coffee drinking that made it popular, because coffee was not, in general, a drink made in the home, but rather brewed and consumed at coffee houses. Due to the time needed in the preparation of the coffee, and the fact that the bitter liquid was served piping hot and could not be drunk quickly, coffee houses became a rare secular public space for conversations, business, and social life. Because at the coffee house, there was no rank or distinction, and people.
Oh, then over time, these coffee houses became the cafes we all know and love. You know, for either a delicious donut or a nice, refreshing cup of coffee or tea, whatever which you prefer.
People of all classes, trades, and ethnic groups talked freely about the issues of the day. And amazingly, that neutral space of the coffee house is still.
Yep, is still living today.
What you'll find going into a cafe nearly anywhere in the world today. And also like today, many coffee houses of the time tended to grow up around universities. Yet, as you'd expect, not every ruler was crazy about how this new stimulant was sweeping their previously caffeine-free cities. Some rejected it on religious grounds, get it? Claiming that it was a way of consuming charcoal, which was forbidden in the Quran. While other religious leaders preached against it, saying it clearly had.
Why would anyone eat charcoal anyway? Why? Well, I mean, there had to be some people who ate charcoal, since it was written down in the Quran on saying don't eat charcoal. But why would it? Why? Why would you, in the first place, eat charcoal anyway? I'm repeating myself. Let's just continue.
Had intoxicating physical effects, and therefore should be banned. In fact, in 1511, Khair Beg, the governor of Mecca, put coffee on trial. Oh, and I mean that literally. He propped a jar of coffee up in a chair and had his council of religious leaders lay out the evidence that it was an intoxicant, encouraged idleness, and caused people to spend time in gossipy coffee houses filled with loose talk and scandalous pursuits, like board games. They banned the drink. But Islamic laws governing intoxicants had all been written about alcohol. And those arguments kind of fell apart when pro-coffee religious figures pointed out that coffee heightened the senses rather than dulled them, and kept the drinker in control of their moral faculties.
Good. I'm a devout Christian, aka Catholic, but I'm with them on this one. Coffee shouldn't be subject to politics and such. It should be for all.
After all, if everything that had a physical
That includes tea.
effect was banned, that would include spicy food as well. So
Yeah, I totally agree with them because I love spicy food, and one can only imagine what would happen if like a country were to outlaw spicy food. There would be riots everywhere.
yeah. Within months, a higher court in Cairo overturned the ruling. Truthfully, objections to coffee were often less about the drink itself and more about the coffeehouse culture that fostered political discussion, the spread of non-orthodox ideas, and the occasional political coup. In fact, Ottoman Sultan Murad IV, who himself had come to the throne as a result of a coffeehouse plot, was reported to personally wander the streets of Istanbul in disguise with a massive sword, decapitating anyone he found sipping the brew. Of course, his successor was more permissive. For a first offense, you got a little cudgeling, and then repeat offenders, of course, were sewn into a sack and thrown into the Bosporus. You know, logical punishments. This debate about coffee would continue for decades, with cycles of anti-coffee rulers banning it throughout the 16th and early 17th centuries, but the popularity of the beverage always outliving the sultans who repressed it. But you know, there were also commercial reasons for allowing the drink, because the Muslim world had found a new use for coffee. Selling it to Europe. Now exactly when and how coffee first came to Europe is...
Yep. Everyone would think that fancy Europe, that fancy Europe would prefer tea. But during the Age of Enlightenment, coffee was the preferred drink. England and the rest of Great Britain would choose tea over coffee only because it was cheaper and cheaper and faster and easier to make.
Is too obscure to determine. Turkish slaves and prisoners of war were observed brewing it in the Christian camp during the siege of Malta in 1565. And by the next decade, Venetian merchants were buying it in the port of Mocha, which is where that name comes from, and then bringing it into...
Oh, really? Wow, that's surprising. You learn... you learn something new every day.
Italy as a drink for the wealthy. But as ever, the dark concoction brought controversy with it. Legends claim that several bishops requested that Pope Clement VIII ban the drink as satanic and non-Christian. But when Clement tried it himself, he declared, "Why, this Satan's drink is so delicious. It would be a pity to let the infidels have exclusive use of it." Now, did that happen? Probably not. But it...
Yeah. Yeah, thank God that was only a legend. Legend. And even if it were true events that happened, thank God for Pope Clement for saying this drink is not satanic. This drink is not satanic. So yeah, go back to work. I love that.
It does show how divisive coffee continued to be, and not only because of its association with the Islamic world. Doctors, probably spurred on or hired by tavern owners who didn't want the competition of coffee houses, wrote about coffee's supposedly dire health effects. One especially notable attack was the Women's Petition Against Coffee. Published in England in 1674, it offered a full 6 pages of body innuendo about coffee's supposed effects on men's performance. "The excessive use of that newfangled, abominable heathen liquor called coffee," it said, "has so eunuched our husbands that they are become as unfruitful as those deserts whence the unhappy berry is said to be brought." Harumph.
This is beef in all its majesty. The only flame-grilled burger, Burger King Whopper.
Deals, discounts, Free shipping! Shopee Mega Shopping Sale na! Shopee!
But the backlash was only a symptom of coffee's success, because not only did the drink come from the Muslim world, the culture of the coffee house did as well. Coffee houses swept Europe, but became particularly ubiquitous in London, where by the 1680s, they served as a mixture of public meeting place, business office, and news outlet for the rising intelligentsia. If you wanted to find someone, you didn't ask where they lived, but which coffee house they frequented. You could even drop them a letter.
Wow. The the parallels between the past and the present now. This is why I love history.
There as if it was a post office, and they were always the best places to hear news and rumors, whether they be economic, literary, or political. And that was because coffee houses had specialty clientele. For instance, the Grecian Coffee House was the headquarters of the Royal Society, London's foremost scientific organization. And after stockbrokers were banned from the Royal Exchange, they coalesced around Jonathan's Coffee House, unofficially making it the first London Stock Exchange. Then there was Lloyd's Coffee House, which was popular with maritime traders and those who sold insurance to them, a clientele who eventually formed a society that would become Lloyd's of London, the most famous insurance market in the world. So yeah, coffee, or rather coffee culture, was helping to revolutionize international trade and commerce. A network that ironically would then help coffee spread around the world and revolutionize.
Come on. It's so hot. I need this video to end quickly. I'm so sorry, guys. But you know how it is. I can't control internet quality. There's literally only 2 minutes left. Oh wait. Okay guys, I'm back. The internet I got disconnected, but I finally connected. Anyway, let's continue.
That ironically would then help coffee spread around the world and revolutionize so much more than trade. So grab a cup with us next time as coffee sobers up a perpetually drunken Europe, fuels the American Civil War, conquers the globe, and meets its best friends, milk and sugar. But of course, coffee's not the only thing that
Yep. I don't normally people nowadays when they would usually use cream and sugar in their tea or coffee, but for me I personally prefer using milk if available. But if there's no milk available, then I use creamer. Anyway, let's continue.
Shaped our past. All of history is a web of cultures influencing each other in countless different ways, which is precisely the type of microcosm that Humankind, a new Forex strategy game, is excited.
It's the ad time. Okay, so yeah. Anyways, this was very interesting. I'm starting to crave coffee now. But anyway, yeah, I really love the parallels between then and now, and how the culture of cafes still live on to this day. And in regards to what he said about coffee places being being the main area for for conversation, including about politics, economics, etc. That is so true on so many levels. I mean, if you let's take a look, for example, on the rise of communism in Russia, while it was still known as Tsarist Russia, before it became the Soviet Union. While Lenin was when Lenin was exiled to Switzerland, he and many other exiles mostly had meetings in cafes, and of course, during the American Revolution, the revolutionists had held their meetings, but not just in taverns, but also in coffee houses as well. So yeah, don't underestimate the influence of cafes, or they have a lot of impact on our society. So yeah. Anyway, that's all I have to say for now. If you like this video, please hit that like and subscribe. Check out my Facebook page, link is in the description. So the link of the original video by Extra Credits. So yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Hopefully it's not so hot next time I record. Anyway, bye.